Battle control initialized.
Hey people, 5 Aces here. What's better than a freshly brewed batch of replays? And that's exactly what we're experiencing right now thanks to the advent of Red Alert Global League Season 4. That's right, as of this week, Red Alert Global League Season 4 is in full effect and you can actually still participate. Just a quick PSA. Some of the spots have opened up because some of the lower divisions had dropouts and people having strikes or forfeited after round 1. So there are still some leftover spots, so go claim those if you're interested. Go to Slightly forums right now. But with that out of the way, let's get our attention back to the game at hand here, and this is going to be the big one. This is going to be Smitty in the left hand spawning as Ukraine, and his opponent Lorrydriver spawning as Russia, both going random, I believe. One of the most hyped matches throughout the entire community. And rightfully so, both of these players are amazing in their own right. Both opting for a War Factory rush, it seems. Straight out the gate here. What's production like? Yep, production queue is on War Factory for both. Interesting, because Lorrydriver was the one who popularized the double ref. But I guess on a map like Sidestep, which has, by the way, not been changed at all. It's still one of the classic maps here by So Scared. Yeah, coming out of playing on a classic map, you can go for like those build orders because you've got a really big ore patch, you've got some time. Time is working against your opponent if he goes for a double ref opener. It doesn't do anything with it because it does scale on a flatter curve. Let's put it that way. Bit of a greedy capture move here for Lorrydriver because he's only sent one rifle to accompany this. Had Smitty gotten a whiff of this, which is unlikely because who is going to expend $1,000 in scouting units? He could have pressured the oil derrick, but hey, it's the way she goes. And same for Smitty, both claiming their oil derricks. Relative safety. This rally point strikes me as odd, so this is going to be an early vehicle. And this build is a bit cheesy, I'd say, because it sets you back quite a bit. Also hasn't relegated the rally point yet. But the early APC, let's see how much damage Lorrydriver can do with this. If he manages to find some good snipes here, maybe on the engineer, maybe on a couple of infantry units, then he's going to be right as rain. On the other hand, if he falls behind here, because this slows your eco down to a crawl, and I've played this in my first Red Alert Global League match myself last week. Alright, he's trying to go for the block, but that ain't gonna happen, buddy, because there are double ref for Smitty out now. And he is going for mass rocket soldiers to try and deny the APC, but an APC can fight a single rocket soldier. It's just that the mass of 2 or more rocket soldiers becomes problematic. Smitty recognizing the problem, immediately popping another barracks and immediately transferring the rally point over. Pretty good so far. And a nice free snipe by Lorrydriver, who is now packed up his engineer and could go for a capture onto the oil derrick. Smitty being unaware of this. But he's popped out an APC himself, and both up to 4 harvesters, so unlike what I expected, Lorrydriver recovered from his early cheese build relatively easily. No scout here on both ends, so this means that the APC of Lorrydriver is free to go in and claim the oil derrick. Let's see whether Smitty has the reaction time, and an early service depot for both. There we go. Now Smitty should have gotten a whiff of what's going on. Okay, he is immediately transferring his APC over, probably going for not for an attack move, but a crush order, which would be, even if it doesn't get the crush, it pushes the engineer away and denies the oil derrick capture. And let's see, this is so close. Okay, goes for the focus fire, actually gets it at the last second. What a last-ditch effort here. What a clutch play. But we're having the first MCV out, and Lorrydriver is maybe 10 seconds ahead because he skipped his second barracks. So yeah, there's that. And Smitty going for his MCV as well, but it's coming out right now. So he's maybe 20 seconds behind. And this means that Lorrydriver can already establish a position here. He's probably going to pop down. Yeah, there's the macro refinery. Because there is no way in hell that this is going to be attacked anytime soon now. And now he's going to park his MCV here. Okay, a bit behind the church. And by the way, look at the scale of the MCV. Look at how big a church is. Look at the scale of an MCV. That strikes me as odd. Even the infantrymen are like quarter the size of a church. Scale is a bit off in this game. Blame Westwood. Yeah, and this macro refinery is going to provide so much value because the immediate base push is on, and Smitty has caught a whiff of this, but what can he do at this point? He's gotten an MC. He went for double MCV, by the way. Interesting line of play here. And all the harvesters have to be pulled off the line. So far, no harvester falling yet. So far, really clutch reactions by Smitty, but he has to transfer all his harvesters over, and right now there is no refinery. So this is already a big economical setback. This cluster of units probably just there to deny the mining by some time. A fair number of crushes by the heavy tanks here, but just not enough, nowhere near enough. Yeah, that's Smitty not having the mass to push through here. He's opted for an early radar dome, so the build he's been going for has been 2 MCVs and an early radar dome without a refinery to back it up, and that's a pretty greedy build if you're asking me. Just asking for trouble if you're playing against someone like Lorrydriver, because now you're expecting him to fortify the top left position, where he's hunkered down with his MCV, but no. Instead he goes for a hunting squad, the Goon squad consisting of 3 heavy tanks, a rocket soldier and a couple of rifles. 5 stack of rifles, I'd say. And this can be easy pickings. The heavy tank just moving in unwaringly. Yeah. This is a big setback already. Losing a heavy tank for little to no gain. Also, the MCV has to be sold right now. It is forfeit. You can't get anything out here, Smitty. Just forget about it. Sell it off. Deny the cash bounty. He doesn't get the sell off, so the cash bounty is transferred over to Lorrydriver. The first V2 rocket has come online, but I doubt this is going to be enough. This is looking very good for Lorrydriver, despite his tech disadvantage here. Smitty would need a miracle in order to make this work. He also needs more refineries. He needs everything. He needs everything at once. He needs another MCV. He needs more. He needs more V2s. He needs more refineries. He needs a. Oh, he's in most desperate need of an airfield, because if you want to play with V2s, you need to have scouts. You need to have a yak out that can screen for your V2s, keep them protected, and at the same time redirect them to proper targets. Instead, he's just moving in. That's the A move into a fortified position. This is not gonna look good. Manages to snipe a Tesla coil. Should now maybe go for a couple harvesters. Okay, he's got the V2 numbers. Now he needs harvesters. Or maybe transfers harvesters over, at least. Keep in mind, he didn't lose the harvesters per se. And that's Lorrydriver. Just as you're fighting his base, he pops down another army. There's the airfield, just in time to scout that there is nothing to scout. Yeah, this is looking very grim so far. Another flanking squad. That's what Lorrydriver is so good at, just finding flanks with the squads. The radar dome is going down for little to no gain on Smitty's side. And the heavy tanks are just too mobile to... the V2s can't keep them in check. Now we've got another set of heavy tanks running rampant through the economy lines here for Smitty. And they are being kept on the move. 2 harvesters down, 3rd harvester probably soon to follow. Smitty pulls it back regardless. Oh, this is brutal. This is gonna be a bit brutal. Yeah, and that's so well played by Lorrydriver, just keeping his units on the move and thusly negating the damage of the V2 rockets. I mean, V2 rockets are actually fairly good versus standing heavy tanks. And they're standing still. Their burst damage is insane, but at the same hand, Lorrydriver is not one to just let them stand still. And calling quits immediately, knowing that there was no way of punishing Lorrydriver with this build. Lorry was actually going for a fairly solid build here. That was not a cheese build or anything. Sometimes he likes leaving his main base vulnerable and open, but this time he didn't do it. He just kept his MCV back, went for the expansion and immediately going for a base push, and thus denying all the eco for Smitty. We're gonna see this in the econ graph. Yeah, here's the big dip off. That was the first attack when he had to pull 4 harvesters off duty, and that was the second attack when he closed out the game. So that was game number 1, but as is the case with Red Alert Global League, we're always gonna have a rematch, so see you in a second.
Battle control terminated. Battle control initialized.
And this is round 2 in the war between between Smitty and Lorrydriver. War for spot number 1, at least for the time being, with Lorrydriver being 1 up currently, and Lorrydriver spawning as Russia again. I think he randomed. Meanwhile, Smitty has switched it up and went for France. I think that's probably random factions. Let's check. Yeah, Smitty went random. Lorrydriver picked Russia deliberately. Interesting choice, because if I were to pick a Soviet faction right now in the current state of the game, I would go for Ukraine any time of the week, because they have those juicy power bombs which can come online so much sooner, and tier 3 tech is in most matches not viable. But yeah, Lorry knows what he's doing, so there's that, and he's going for a 5-stack of rifles again. Meanwhile, this time we've got a lot of pressure coming out for Smitty. I think that must be 15 queued up. Stack him up, boys, stack him higher. And forming a nice defensive line here for the engineer. Oh, announcing his presence with an oil barrel snipe. No damage yet. And this could actually push away the engineer of Lorrydriver. Let's see how he's doing. Should move in now. 15 rifles are definitely enough to bust this position. Go for a nice bust here. Oh, even force fire micro coming out. Look at the force fire micro, beautiful. And on the backhand of this, Smitty just taking his oil lyric safely and securely. So we're gonna have a wall off with the rifle infantry, forming a human meat shield here to screen for the engineer and to deny and stifle any kind of aggression that can come out of Lorrydriver. Lorrydriver again opting for an early war factory. Let's see, this is a double ref this time for Smitty, so the timing is going to be a bit different. This means that actually Smitty should start pumping out infantry. Look, he's floating more. This is just the nature of double ref. If you're going double ref, just pump out lots of infantry early on. If you're going for war factory first, don't do it, because you're going to be broken, completely broken, cash starved. And that's the early APC off of 1 harvester again, as we've seen last game. This match though, there's going to be a completely different opener for Smitty, and right now he's got a good hand in this game because, or Lorrydriver has a good hand in this game because he is facing 15 rifles and not a single rocket soldier so far. Oh, the snipe can't be found yet. Finally goes for the engineer, but that's 3 oil lyrics up for Smitty. 3/0. Pretty good haul so far. And an engineer coming in for Lorrydriver. Meanwhile, the APC is trying to duke it out with the 15 stack of rifles. The rockets are closing in. Let's see, how is he gonna handle this? He moves away from the rockets. Very smart choice. Maybe go for a crush on the roads. Funnel them into the roads and then try and go for the mass crushes, but no. Decides to play it safe. He knows he has captured the oil lyric. There's no way that Smitty can close the gap here. So very well played. And is even gonna pick him up again, is he? Maybe not. Oh, the engineer barely not blocking the APC. Lucky break here. But I think the engineer is forfeit at this point. Yep, first shot comes in and hits the NG. And there she goes. Oh, but he's found the snipe on the backup engineer. That is so unlucky. Really good control with the APC from Lorrydriver. Really good early game pressure. And the mass infantry is just too immobile to deal with the APC as of yet. So yeah, you can't trade the APC into an infantry blob, but you can definitely and surely pick off single stray units, which is exactly what Lorrydriver was doing there. Very good play. This line of play netting him the advantage here. Also giving him a trade back oil lyric. Now we're seeing the Ranger out of Smitty, going for some Ranger danger. Keep in mind that this was after 5 harvesters, so he was just trying to play it safe, I guess. Agenda has been changed a bit. There used to be another back oil derrick here, which got removed and revamped into a cliff, I guess. And here is the first flame tower. Smitty pulling out in time, knowing what's at hand. Lorry immediately selling this off. Now, that is a nasty trick. If your opponent is going for mass artillery units, and you show them your hand with a flame tower or any kind of static D, you pop it, you show them your hand, you know it's been scouted. Your opponent is trying to tackle or force fire or just target the flame tower down. Seeing as it is not there anymore, the infantry units will go into melee, or the artillery units will try and go into melee range in order to confirm that it has been killed off. So a very nasty trick if your opponent is going for a very artillery-based playstyle. Now this could be a complete surround here from the army out of Smitty. Let's see, he's got a 7 stack of rockets there, able to one-shot any sort of tank aggression. But the rockets have all been too much to the front. Now we're seeing the turn rate is just too bad for the tank. A victory, albeit a small one for Smitty. Trying to force back the heavy tank. Running into a Tesla coil. There's the expansion MCV. The base push is on already. 5 minute 30 base push, classic. And he needs to focus down this Tesla coil if he wants to stand any chance here. The rockets are in the backlines and not firing. This is so bad. So not only does he get away with the tank, but also the Tesla coil survives. And there is a bad rally point, which is going to feed more and more rocket soldiers into a Tesla coil. Very bad for Smitty again, but he's not out of the game yet by any means or any stretch of the imagination. Should relegate his rally points. Yeah, right now he did it. Macro refinery on the backhand side, just supplementing it with a pillbox. And the army is so much bigger for Lorrydriver. He's gotten lots and lots of heavy tanks, and the heavy tanks can deal quite some, or just take quite some punishment. Don't stand so close to the oil. Ooh, this has killed a 5 stack of rifles at least. So, if you ever want to kill an oil, I think this got added or implemented in one of the latest releases. Oils now explode with a fairly damaging blast, which now kills off infantry very reliably. So yeah, there's that. Again, the tanks being slightly out of position for Smitty. Smitty just keeping his tanks too far forward, so that's a nice freebie here for Lorrydriver. Taking another tank down and keeping your opponent's tank count significantly lower than yours means that your tanks later on are gonna have free reign to just do whatever they please. You can split off 1 or 2 because it didn't lose as many, and harass harvesters. That's exactly how this game is going to play out, probably. Now, more infantry-centric composition for Smitty, but we're seeing 4 heavy tanks out of Lorrydriver, and the 5th going in with a small flanking squad. That's what he loves and that's what he does best. Just finding his way around the enemy infantry, finding his way around enemy defensive lines, and finding important snipes. I would not be surprised. Oh, again! Again, the tanks just being too far forward, being way out of position. Now there are lots of rocket soldiers here, and I mean lots. That's a metric fuckton if you want a scientifically comprehensible amount here. Metric fuckton is the right word. And okay, that's pretty good for Smitty though. He has pushed it away, and he's got so many rockets. So all that Lorry really needs here is either take up the V2s or just go for mass. Ooh, melee artillery. Go for mass V2s. Or just go mass infantry, mass tier 0. By that I mean mass riflemen, basically. So Lorry, just his game sense is impeccable. He knows something's up. He knows that there is a big infantry clump somewhere, even though he hasn't scouted it, because he has lost an army to it. So he just supplementing with V2s here, playing defensively on the right-hand flank. Meanwhile, on the left side, he's just base pushing because he knows that all Smitty is going to do here is reinforce with artilleries. First Yak has come online, and the MCV is in peril, but Lorrydriver immediately pulling back. That was like a reaction time of 0.5 seconds or something. Something crazy like this. V2s are gonna do so much work here in this composition. This is infantry only, and we know how this ends. Infantry only versus V2s. No way, Jose. So we're having 2 Yaks up in the air. The first Hind has come online a bit later, but this could allow Smitty to actually push back. What he needs now is an anti-air gun. Probably, I would position it here, so that there is no chance of a surprise Tesla coil popping and immediately one-shotting it. And the Yak is going in, finding a snipe on 1. Can we see 2? Do I see 2? We're seeing 2. Almost 3. A sliver of health for the artillery. Can he find the crash angle? Oh, he found the snipe. And the V2 and the Yak gets out scot-free. Beautiful. Killing the net worth of an MCV and then some. Just for free. And Smitty would be well advised not wasting his ammo on with the Hinds on V2s. Instead, he should just not on heavy tanks, but instead he should just go for the V2s. Should go for a nice flank here. Yeah. The helicopter can go for a nice flank onto the V2 rockets, and just start cleaning house here. There is only one rocket soldier, so the anti-air is very thinned out. There we go. Oh, but a flank truck. The flak truck, aka flank truck, has been successful here. Very good. Smitty needs an AA gun. That's not where he needs an AA gun. Goodbye. Jesus Christ. That was bad timing. Smitty sounding the retreat. The flak truck could go on a chase here because mobile construction vehicles very vulnerable to flak trucks as long as they're undeployed. Instead, he's opting to go for the main base with a small detachment that has split off. Should go for stop micro here. Just stop, press stop keys and let the rocket soldiers auto acquire. Ah, that's what he's doing right now. He should have done it sooner. The scatter command's coming out, but just not enough. He hasn't done a single point of damage here. He has neither killed the power plant nor the war factory. So very good and commanding position for Lorrydriver. The flak trucks are starting to appear. Once the flak trucks are appearing, this makes it so much more difficult to actually deal with, or actually use Heinz to deal with V2s. Because as long as flak trucks are properly microed, they just take down anything that comes out of tier 2 of the allies. I mean anything, except destroyers. Let's, destroyers not included. That's a bad AA gun positioning again. You should have placed it way more defensively. Defend your artilleries with AA guns. Don't go for an all-out base push with anti-air guns. It's not exactly their forte. And as soon as the V2 has recharged, it's already Vet 2, Vet 3 now. The V2 just what the doctor ordered, keeping down the anti-air count. Again, just no anti-air here for Smitty, so the Yaks can go in for another swoop, another fell swoop as soon as they're rearmed. 2 Yaks was all that Lorrydriver really needed here. Another Hind falling, and that's exactly what I was telling about here. As soon as there are flak trucks, Lorrydriver is going to be in a commanding position because, yeah, you can't deal with the flak trucks with just tier 2. And he's invested most of his assets in tier 2. He's on 6 artilleries, he's on 6 Hinds, 5 Hinds maybe, and he's lost a couple more. Oh! Going into melee range and an ore truck to tank. Very brave. The hero of the people. The hero the people needed. Mass artillery composition. This is just not something that is very suitable for in high-level play. You need at least a couple tanks to screen, or you need at least anti-air guns to protect your artilleries. As it stands here, alright, he's gotten... That's a good position. But he's gotten a rally point that is really bad. So every single artillery that is going to be transferred over to the north is going to be sniped immediately. Finally, the first Yak is falling out of the sky. Second Yak still online here. Should maybe trade it for 1 or 2 artilleries. He's going in for a strafe. 1. Still worth it, you know. Still okay. And meanwhile, the flak truck has found a flank on both the Hind and the artillery. Oh, and there are 2 more Hinds completely out of position, getting caught off guard by the flags again. Bit of friendly fire, but that's nothing the Soviet, not taxpayer money, can't fix. And here is a big army in the waitings, waiting to move in as soon as the artilleries are being dealt with, are being disposed of. Another flank here. So this means the reinforcement path is completely cut off. No matter what Smitty sends up north, it is going to be cut down by those infantry, flags, and the V2. So he needs to make something happen in the north with those 4 artilleries, or he needs to deploy another war factory, which is not feasible considering his economical situation here. As soon as a couple more Yaks are coming online, this is probably going to get cleaned up. 4 artilleries. A tech server being deployed by Lorrydriver, and he has found the unprotected ore refinery, the spy plane of the Soviets, once again proving its value in worth in gold here. That doesn't make sense, yeah, I know. And sniping 2 artilleries for the price of a Yak, very worthwhile. 4 ore trucks going down. So basically nothing in the way of this army anymore. He has accomplished his job there. The army can just maybe hide into a corner. He has established himself in the front lines again. 1 artillery is remaining here, 2 more, 3 more in the base. Mass artillery play just doesn't work here. I'm expecting to see an Iron Curtain at some point in the future. Let's see, does he actually go for an Iron Curtain at this? Yes! 15 seconds off the curtain, or at least off building the curtain. Oh, devastating V2 hit. The army is forfeit anyway, but if he can trade it for at least a couple more soldiers, he's gonna be content. Yep, thank you, goodbye. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, we've got a big army waiting for the push-out. More and more eco is being established here by Smitty, but to no avail. The Orphils are just being camped at a massive dispatch of infantry that was sitting home in the main base. It's just waiting. And that's kind of the mind game that Lorrydriver likes to play. He has a forward base, but he's not reinforcing his forward base. Oh, beautiful snipe. The Vet 4 artillery going down. There's a Vet 3 artillery remaining here. And again, anti-air gun down. V2s could move back at this point in time, but no, decides to stick around for a bit longer. Power down, but that's more of a momentary lapse, I believe. And the map is starting to look a lot more blue than orange. Blue is the new orange, guys. Yep, this is starting to look very decisive here. And no scout, no... Oh! Another flank with 2 flank trucks here. They're on Vet 3 and Vet 1 respectively. The spy plane. I spy with my little eye that there are just 2 artilleries left, so goodbye. Peace out later. Again, a flank truck has found its way in, is going to snag 2 artilleries. Yep, and even escape. No, not going to escape to live it. Oh my god, the flank trucks here have killed like 4 or 5 Hinds. They're now both on Vet 3. This has been the best set of flank trucks I've ever seen. Here is an APC, probably just for tanking power. Maybe also a backline infantry drop. Who knows? Lorrydriver at this point in the game, the world is his oyster, and GG being called by Smitty. Understandably so, rightfully so. He was behind in every aspect of the game. What a beautiful and well-played match by Lorrydriver. Just exerting perfect control over his units here, and just knowing where to position his units. So the fake out was one of the most important and crucial factors in his win here. It didn't... Many players stop base pushing immediately. Many players know how to base push. And many players would just go for a Conyard here and start amassing all their units there. And what happens with this is that the opponent is allowed to turtle up to artillery and or V2 rockets, and then smash the entire army and smash the entire infantry at some stage of the game. Meanwhile, what Lorrydriver did was way smarter. He's lost an engagement up topside, immediately knew, oh my god, there is an army coming, sending lots of soldiers up north, and actually kind of abandoning his forward base here. He wasn't even really mining there. He was just locking down the middle to deny it from Smitty. So having his valuable assets elsewhere allowed him to amass such crazy amounts of infantry without losing them to some random artillery shells. And in the meantime, his flank trucks have done a fantastic job. Look at those 2 guys, highly decorated, Vet 4 and Vet 3 respectively. Very well played, and especially the flanks onto the hind blobs were amazing. So that's it for round 1. We're gonna be back. Also, quick PSA, there's gonna be a stream this Thursday. I'm going to stream some 1v1 live practice. I'm also going to analyze my replays, go over them, because I've already played 2 games, or 1 set of games versus half. And yeah, Thursday, 5 PM UTC. Check out my channel, tune in. That's it for now. Good night, internet. I'll see you next time. 5 Aces out.
Battle control terminated.